Hey, this is Evan from MindMine. I'm also an LA-based actor, and this video is to help actors, performers with some educational resources. These are going to be from very different mediums, so that way, no matter your kind of educational styling, what your preference is, there should be something here for you that you can glean information off of. Now, it's really important, of course, to have these educational tools, because as you expand your toolbox more, it's a lot easier when it's requested of you as an actor to pull from those experiences and put out something that is absolutely incredible. That is hopefully something that will sell you as a performer, help sell your character, and create something absolutely amazing to the audience. Now, currently, I am recording this during the coronavirus pandemic. With this, I know it's harder than ever for people to find work, to keep work. It's a very stressful and hectic time. And one thing that can at least help toward staying positive and clearing out some of the negativity is by actively learning, by taking on education, and by setting goals for yourself that you know that you can achieve and will achieve. And by doing this, you're going to be building out your toolbox much more. So that way, hopefully, when we see this through and everything opens up once again and we can get back out there and get working, you'll be able to hit the ground running. So the first few resources are going to be books that I highly recommend. I've read these multiple times and have always gleaned something new from them every single time. So the first two books are going to be from the same author, Show Your Work and Keep Going by Kleon. This guy is an active creative. This is what he does for his job, is creativity. So with this, he breaks down the work-life balance, how to take on being a creative and doing work at all times of the day while also having a life. So having that work-life balance, finding inspiration, creating a space where you feel like you can truly create, knowing that it's okay to get inspired by certain things, by certain aspects or elements from another creative, and figure out ways of utilizing it in your own ways, on your own terms. And the next book I highly recommend is by Tony Barr called Acting for the Camera. So this book gives you some great insights into how to develop the character, how to pull it out from within you and present it to a camera. It also breaks down some of the film production process as well. Now, some of the points made about the film production process are a little bit dated, but still there is some great points in here to learn about being an actor and being right there in front of the camera, how to take that on, how to take on an audio person being over here, the lights being right here in your face. You have makeup and hair and stuff doing their thing over in the corner here. What's happening on set in comparison to being in that moment and really truly portraying that character. And one of the biggest things I think you'll glean from this, that I know I did, is the impact of active listening. Not just as the actor, but as the character. Your character is processing the information that they're taking in. So at no point should you be glassy-eyed, should your character just be dead to the world until they need to say their line, right? So you are in that moment, and this will help you get to that point, better understand that concept and how to then put it into practice. Next up, by Caine, is Acting in Film. Now, this book is a great resource where it tells you from the actor's perspective, someone who's been doing it for decades, on their thoughts, perspectives of creating a character and presenting it to the camera. Also, the impact of the camera on the actor, how you have to have a sort of symbiotic relationship. There has to be this sort of intimacy where you have to work with the camera just as much as the camera has to work with you into telling a story, because it is like doing surgery with a laser. It is very finely tuned and it will pick up on every little thing that the actor does. So you need to be cognizant of what the camera can see, what it picks up, and what it amplifies. And so this book does a good job of getting you starting to think in that direction of utilizing the camera as an actual tool and not just leaving it purely in the hands of the cinematographer, but how you can work with the cinematographer, the director, and that camera to best tell a story. And the last book by David Ball is Backwards and Forwards, a technical manual for reading plays. Now you might say, okay, well, this is clearly for theater then. It doesn't matter. It really is for any script. It's a new technical way of breaking down a script, whether you're an actor, whether you're a director, whether you're also a writer. It's a great way of looking at and analyzing information within a script, knowing that a script is much more than just dialogue. There are many actions and reactions, many reverberations being felt by everyone involved in the story based on what other people have done or other events that have occurred. And it's important to understand all those nuances. And one of the best ways of taking on and understanding and picking up those elements is not just reading the play or the screenplay from beginning to end, but from end to beginning. It's when you start restacking up those dominoes that you start understanding the true connections between things. And a lot of times you'll pick up on elements and important factors that you didn't initially pick up when you were looking at it from beginning to end. So this is just a great manual to give you some structure into how to analyze, how to break down scripts, so that way you can get the most amount of information and create the most amount of layers, thus making it the most engaging piece for the audience. So outside of books, another great resource would be finding scripts online and treating those scripts as if they were an actual audition or as if you were prepping for an actual shoot or production. Again, always making sure to use tools of the trade so that way you don't forget about them. You don't create bad habits, but you're actually reinforcing the good habits. Really, truly breaking down a scene, breaking down a character, understanding relationships, truly understanding the lines being delivered to your character as well as the lines you're delivering to another character. Why are those important? So everything that you'll basically learn in, for instance, the Backwards and Forwards book, you will then put into practice with these scripts. Now you can find a lot of different locations online, websites and so forth, and archives where you can find scripts that are meant for auditions or just for pure practice. But you can also use Showfax, which is a branch of Actors Access. So with Showfax, it's basically a search engine archive of a ton of different sites that are being used or were being used for auditions. So this way you can dig through based on searching for a specific film, a specific character type maybe, or a specific genre that you're looking for, or a specific TV series, let's say like NCIS. You can easily type that in and you'll come up ideally with several different sides that you can then print off and rehearse with. And you can practice and treat it like a true audition or like a true piece that you're getting ready to shoot. So with this, again, you're actively implementing what you're learning in books and what you'll be learning in some of the videos that I'll be sharing next. So the first video resource we're going to talk about is How Ian McKellen Acts with His Eyes by Nerdwriter 1. This video does a great breakdown of Ian McKellen playing Gandalf in Lord of the Rings. He showcases the power of eyes, how they can really truly tell a story, especially when it's a different story from what we're hearing, because the character doesn't want to give off a certain fear that they may have or certain concern that might be eating them up on the inside. But we as the audience love to see that. That pulls us in more. It creates many more layers, much more depth to truly engage us and make us wonder what's actually happening, get us processing and thinking and feeling. And that way it just becomes a much more memorable performance. And it's definitely something you'll want to watch if you are a performer, actor who works in front of the camera or would like to work in front of the camera. So we've learned already from Michael Caine about subtlety, but now we're breaking it down even more specifically in how do we use subtlety in the eyes to tell a deeper story. The next video is an acting masterclass by Sir Michael Caine, which was brought to us by BBC. So this is an interview style where Michael Caine breaks down a lot of what he did in his book, Acting in Film, but also so much more of what he's learned over these several decades since that book released. So with this, you're going to again dive into more about subtlety, dive in more about understanding the character and the reality of the scene and being in that moment. And again, going back to that active listening and the things that Michael Caine believes in now over time and what he's learned from just actively listening as that character and what kind of weight is within that moment that that character has to bear. And also what's great too is Michael Caine talks about the emotions not to show in order to tell a deeper story. So we talked about subtlety, we talked about telling a story with the eyes, but also sometimes a story that isn't being told is what can really grab the audience's attention and tell a much larger story. SAG-AFTRA. Now, if you haven't checked out their YouTube channel, they have great material on there to help you improve as an actor. And it doesn't matter whether you're equity or not, the resources there still stand and are great for everyone. So I highly recommend you checking that out, subscribing to their channel as well, and keeping up to date on all the different videos and content they put up there. And with that, one video they have is Memorization. where they discuss the importance of memorization, of course, as an actor, but also the different ways of going about it and understanding truly the elements within short-term memorization as well as long-term memorization. One of the best things you're going to glean from this is the fact that being active, moving around, doing things around the house, running errands while running your lines is one of the best ways of truly memorizing your script, but also getting used to doing it in different locations and delivering it in different ways, rather than sitting down in a very quiet room and just saying the lines to yourself. So again, being active, doing things while the brain is already active and running anyway, in order to, again, memorize those lines and create some new opportunities for you as the character within those moments. And the last video is by, once again, Nerdwriter1. This time he covers Sir Anthony Hopkins in Westworld. Now he breaks down how confident Anthony Hopkins is in each moment that he performs because he knows the script so well. He's looked at it inside and out, forwards and backwards. So he's been able to analyze and indulge in certain moments, be comfortable in the moment, even when it's supposed to be uncomfortable for the person he's speaking with. And this brings out so many layers to the character. So this is a great analysis on being confident and trusting your gut, trusting yourself, trusting the script, and putting the time and effort into a character that's needed in order to truly bring out a well-diverse and intriguing character, which then creates really intriguing, engaging moments. And the last point of this video would be to take classes. Now, I know right now it's very hard to do so because of the pandemic, but there are locations currently, especially within LA, that are offering now online classes. It's not the most ideal situation, but it is something that can keep you active. And then, of course, it's important to attend these classes in person once we see ourselves through this pandemic. Now, if you're looking to actually do work in front of a camera, it is so important that you find a class that actually emphasizes working in front of the camera. But you'd be surprised at how many classes actually teach their acting more like theater. And there's no camera, there's no direct understanding and teaching of how to use the mechanics of the camera to your advantage as an actor. I just took a class recently and I want to recommend them because I had a really good time with it. And honestly, every student that I was with highly recommended this class because they said that out of all the classes they took, this was really the only class that truly emphasized how to work in front of the camera as an actor and how to use the camera so that way you can get roles and make creative choices that really create really in-depth and engaging characters. And so that school is LA on Camera, which is taught by Jameson Haas. So make sure to check that out, LA on Camera. He has a ton of great reviews. And honestly, I had a great time working with him and working with the students in the class. And I really hope that this information bridges you to your goals. And if you have some success stories or some things that you want to share, make sure to connect with me on Twitter at Evan, EVINC Anderson, ANDERSON. I look forward to it. Take care.